Jake Morrison sat on his couch watching television. The clock showed midnight and rain hit his apartment windows in Seattle. He worked as a maintenance engineer for a company that made supplies for space stations. The job was simple and paid his bills. He lived alone and liked it that way. Earth had changed in the past 2 years. Aliens were real now. They walked the streets and lived in apartments. The Galactic Federation had invited Earth to join, and suddenly everything was different. Some people loved having aliens around. Others hated it. Jake didn't care much either way. If aliens wanted to live on Earth, that was fine with him. His building was one of the first to allow both humans and aliens. Jake had seen a few alien neighbors in the hallways. There was a tall blue creature on the 5th floor. A family of small furry beings lived somewhere below him. Across the hall in Unit 12B lived someone he had never really met. He had seen her once through her doorway. She was tiny, maybe the size of a toy doll. The sound came so quietly that Jake almost missed it. A soft tapping at his door. He turned off the television sound and listened. There it was again. Tap, tap, tap. Very gentle, very quiet. Jake walked to the door and opened it. He looked straight ahead and saw nothing. Then he looked down at his doormat. Standing there was his neighbor from 12B. She was even smaller than he remembered, only about 8 inches tall. Her skin looked almost transparent, like colored glass. It kept changing colors, flickering between purple and dark red. She had huge eyes that took up most of her face. Those eyes were wet like she was crying. She wore a small outfit that seemed to glow slightly in the hallway light. "Please," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper, soft like a small bell ringing far away. "I need help. I am dying." Jake's heart jumped in his chest. He bent down quickly. "What's wrong? What happened?" "My name is Zixthari. You can call me Z. My environmental regulator broke. Without it, your air will poison me. I have maybe 6 hours before I die." Her tiny voice shook as she spoke. "I knocked on many doors tonight. No one answered. Some people saw me and closed their doors. You are the last person I can ask." Jake didn't think about it. He just acted. "Come inside. Come in right now." He held out his hand with his palm up. Z climbed onto it carefully. She weighed almost nothing, lighter than his phone. He brought her inside and closed the door behind them. Her skin kept changing colors, flashing dark red and purple. He remembered reading that some aliens showed feelings through color changes. "Sit here," Jake said, setting her gently on his coffee table. "Tell me exactly what's happening." Z looked up at him with her large eyes. "My species, the Whispers, cannot breathe Earth air. It has too much oxygen. For us, oxygen is poison. We need special machines to survive here. The regulator makes the right air inside my apartment. Tonight it stopped working. I called for help. The repair person cannot come until Monday." "Monday? That's 3 days from now." "Yes. I will be dead long before then." Her colors got darker, sadder. "I am sorry to bother you. I know humans and aliens don't always get along, but I didn't know where else to go." Jake ran his hand through his hair. His mind was racing. "Wait, so you need different air? Specific gases?" "Yes. Low oxygen, high nitrogen, some other gases too. And the humidity must be exactly right. Without all of these things, my body stops working." "Can you breathe our air for a little while?" "A few hours maybe, but it hurts. Already I feel burning inside my lungs. The longer I breathe Earth air, the more damage it does. Eventually, the damage is permanent and I die." Jake stood up and started walking back and forth. He was just a maintenance guy. He fixed broken equipment at his job. He wasn't a scientist or a doctor. But he was good at solving problems when he didn't have the right tools. That was basically his whole job description. "Do you have the broken regulator? Can I look at it?" Z's colors got a bit brighter, more hopeful. "You want to try fixing it?" "I don't know if I can, but I want to look at it." Z took him across the hall to her apartment. Everything was tiny, made for someone her size. In the corner sat a device about the size of a shoebox. It had strange symbols on it, and lights that blinked in weird patterns. Jake picked it up carefully and brought it back to his apartment. He set it on his table and looked at it closely. The technology was completely alien. He had never seen anything like it. Strange writing covered the surface. The lights blinked in ways he couldn't understand. But when he opened the back panel, he could see basic parts: a power source, a processor, filters, vents. "It's burned out," he said after a few minutes. "The main processing part is completely destroyed. I can't fix this." Z's colors went dark. She sat down on the table. Her small shoulders dropped. But Jake's brain was already working on something else. "I can't fix this machine, but maybe I can build something different, something temporary to keep you alive until Monday." Z looked up at him. "Build something? How?" "Tell me exactly what you need. The specific gases, the amounts, the humidity level. Everything." Z pulled out a tiny device and touched it. A small holographic screen appeared, showing information about her species and what they needed to breathe. Jake took a picture with his phone and started reading. "Okay," he said slowly. "Okay, I think I can do this." He went to his closet and found a large glass aquarium. He had bought it months ago to get a fish but never did. Now it would save a life instead. Jake also had equipment from work in his spare room. A nitrogen generator he had borrowed to test something. A humidifier he used in winter when the air got dry. An old air quality monitor. Boxes full of electronic parts he had collected over the years for projects. He started gathering everything and putting it on his floor. Z watched from the table, her colors moving between hope and fear. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Building you a temporary home, a safe space where you can breathe until your repair person comes on Monday." Jake started connecting pieces with cables and tubes. "It won't look nice, but it should work." "You can really do this? Make alien air with human equipment?" Jake looked at her and smiled. "I fix broken things every day at work. Right now, the situation is broken. You need air you can breathe. I'm going to fix that." "But you don't know anything about my species." "I know enough. You need specific gases at specific levels. That's just chemistry and engineering. I can handle that." He worked through the night. Z told him about herself while he built. She came to Earth to study human poetry and books. She loved how humans expressed feelings through words. Her favorite human poet was Emily Dickinson. She had been on Earth for 6 months and loved it here, even though it was hard sometimes. "Why Earth?" Jake asked while he adjusted the nitrogen generator. "You could go anywhere in the galaxy. Why come here?" "Because humans feel things deeply," Z said. Her voice was getting weaker. The Earth air was hurting her. "Your art, your music, your writing, it's all so beautiful. I wanted to understand humans better. Even though some humans hate aliens." "Yes, because some humans are kind." She paused. "Like you." Jake worked faster. He connected the aquarium to the nitrogen generator with tubes. He added the humidifier to create moisture. He made chemical filters from supplies he had from work. The air quality monitor would track the gas levels inside. By the time the sun started coming up, he had built something that looked like a strange science experiment. Jake checked the readings one more time. The gas levels matched what Z needed. "Okay," he said. "I think it's ready, but I'm not completely sure. Are you willing to try it?" Z looked at the makeshift habitat Jake had built. Her colors were almost gone now, very faint. She could barely stand up. "If this doesn't work, I'll die anyway. I trust you, Jake." Jake carefully picked her up and placed her inside the aquarium through a small door he had made. He sealed it closed. The machines started humming. The air inside began to change. For a long moment, nothing happened. Jake held his breath. Then Z's colors started coming back, first just a little blue, then green, then bright, happy yellow. She took a deep breath, and then another. "It works," she whispered. "It actually works. I can breathe." The burning stopped. Jake felt all his tension release at once. He hadn't realized how worried he was. "Good. That's really good." Z pressed her tiny hand against the glass wall. You saved my life. A human I barely know just saved my life. Jake pressed his finger to the glass where her hand was. You're my neighbor. Neighbors help each other. That's how it should work. Z's colors moved through many different shades. Happiness, gratitude, relief. She looked at him with her huge eyes. Most humans would not have done this. They would have been scared, or angry, or they wouldn't have known how. I think most humans would have helped, Jake said. You just needed to find the right door to knock on. He made himself coffee while Z ate something from a small package she had brought. It looked like gel. She seemed much stronger now. Her colors were bright and steady. You should rest, Jake said. You're safe now. Sleep for a while. Thank you, Jake Morrison. I will never forget what you did tonight. Jake smiled. Get some sleep, Z. We'll figure everything else out later. He watched as she curled up inside the habitat. Her colors slowly changed to a calm, peaceful blue. Within minutes, she was asleep. Jake sat on his couch and looked at the strange setup on his coffee table. An alien was sleeping in an aquarium in his apartment. Jake woke up a few hours later on his couch. His back hurt from sleeping in a strange position. The habitat on his coffee table was still humming quietly. Inside, Z was awake looking at something on her small device. Good morning, Jake said. His voice was rough from sleep. Z's colors brightened when she saw him. Good morning, Jake. Did you sleep well? Not really. But I'm fine. He got up and stretched. How do you feel? Much better. Your machine works perfectly. I don't feel any pain at all. Jake walked over to check the monitors. All the readings looked good. The gas levels were stable. Great. So we just need to keep this running until Monday when your technician comes. Yes. Jake, I still cannot believe what you did. Most humans would never help an alien like this. You keep saying that, but I think you're wrong. Most people are decent. They just need a chance to show it. Jake was about to make coffee when Z's device made a sound. She looked at it and suddenly her colors went very dark. Deep purple, almost black. What's wrong? Jake asked immediately. Z was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was shaking. I just got a message from the building safety committee. They looked at my regulator. Jake, it wasn't broken by accident. Someone sabotaged it. Someone deliberately destroyed it. Jake felt anger rise hot in his chest. What? Who would do that? The message doesn't say who did it. But Jake, there's more. Z looked up at him with frightened eyes. My regulator wasn't the first problem. 3 other aliens in this building have had incidents in the past month. A Kix named Renth got very sick from contaminated food. A Jix family had their door sealed from the outside, trapping them inside. A Vreen student had her communication device destroyed. We all reported these things, but the human authorities said they were probably just accidents. But this wasn't an accident. Someone tried to kill you. Yes. Someone who doesn't want aliens living in this building. Someone who hates us enough to try to kill us. Z's colors were still dark with fear. I'm scared, Jake. What if they try again? What if they target someone else? Jake sat down. His mind was working fast. Someone in this building, or someone with access to it, was attacking aliens. Deliberately, systematically. That meant Z and the others were still in danger. Do you know who might be doing this? There is a man in Unit 8A, Gregory Hunt. He has complained many times about aliens living here. At building meetings, he says we are dangerous. He says we should go back to our own planets. He's very angry about us being here. Jake knew Gregory Hunt. He had seen him in the lobby a few times. A man in his 40s with an angry face and a loud voice. Jake had heard him yelling about the building allowing alien residents. Okay, we need to tell someone who will actually do something about this. Jake pulled out his phone and called his friend Helen Carter. She was a police officer. They had known each other since high school. If anyone would take this seriously, it would be Helen. Jake? It's 8 in the morning on a Saturday. This better be good. Helen's voice came through the phone. It is. Someone tried to murder my neighbor. I need your help. There was a pause. What, are you serious? Completely serious. Can you come to my apartment? I'll explain everything. Give me 30 minutes. While they waited for Helen, Jake made breakfast for himself. He couldn't make anything for Z since she ate different food. She watched him from inside the habitat, her colors shifting nervously between purple and blue. Will your friend believe us? Z asked. Helen's a good cop. She'll listen to the facts and take this seriously. But I'm an alien. Many humans don't trust us. They think we're lying or exaggerating. Jake looked at her seriously. Helen isn't like that. She cares about doing what's right. That's why she became a cop in the first place. When Helen arrived, she was wearing casual clothes, jeans, and a jacket. She was tall with short dark hair and sharp eyes that noticed everything. She looked at Jake, then at the strange aquarium set up on his table, then at the tiny figure inside. "Okay," she said. "Start from the beginning and tell me everything." Jake explained it all. The midnight knock, the broken regulator, building the temporary habitat, the message about sabotage. Helen listened without interrupting, taking notes on her phone. When Jake finished, Helen walked over to the habitat and bent down to look at Z. "Hi, I'm Officer Helen Carter. Can you tell me about the other incidents in the building?" Z told her everything. The contaminated food that made Renth sick, the sealed door that trapped the Jix family, the destroyed communication device. Helen's face got more serious with each story. "And you reported all of these to the police?" Helen asked. "Yes, but each time the officers said it was probably equipment failure or accidents. They said there was no proof of intentional harm." "Well, if your regulator was sabotage, that's proof." Helen stood up and looked at Jake. "I work in the Interspecies Relations Unit now. It's a new department. We handle crimes involving both humans and aliens. This is exactly the kind of case we need to investigate. So you'll help?" Z's voice was full of hope. "Absolutely, but I need you to understand something. This might be bigger than just one person in your building. We've been seeing a pattern across Seattle. Multiple incidents of aliens being targeted. Equipment failures, threats, vandalism. Someone or some group is running a campaign to scare aliens into leaving Earth." Jake felt cold. "You're saying this is organized?" "We think so, but we haven't had enough evidence to prove it. If your regulator was sabotaged and we can connect it to the other incidents, we might finally have a case." Helen spent the next 2 hours taking detailed statements from Jake and Z. She took photos of the broken regulator. She made phone calls to other officers in her unit. By the time she was ready to leave, Jake felt exhausted but also relieved. Someone official was finally taking this seriously. "I'll start the investigation right away," Helen said at the door. "But Jake, you need to be careful. If whoever did this realizes you're helping Z and that we're investigating, they might target you too." "I don't care. I'm not going to let them hurt her or anyone else." Helen smiled slightly. "I figured you'd say that. Just be smart about it, okay? Call me if anything happens. Anything at all." After Helen left, Jake sat down on his couch. Z looked at him from her habitat. "You're putting yourself in danger for me," she said quietly. "Someone has to stand up to this. It might as well be me. But why? You barely know me. You could just keep your head down and stay safe." Jake thought about how to explain it. "When I was a kid, my dad told me something. He said that the world changes based on what people choose to do when they see something wrong. You can look away and pretend it's not your problem, or you can do something about it even if it's hard or scary. I'm choosing to do something." Z's color shifted to a warm gold. "Your father sounds wise." "He was. He died a few years ago, but I still think about what he taught me." They sat quietly for a moment. Then Jake had an idea. "I want to talk to the other residents. Not just about what happened to you, but about all the incidents. I want to organize people who care, who want this building to be safe for everyone." "You want to form a group?" "Yeah, a residents committee or something. People who will watch out for the alien residents and document any problems. Strength in numbers, you know?" "That could work. But it could also make you a target." "I'm already a target if I'm helping you. Might as well go all in." Over the rest of the day, Jake started making calls and knocking on doors. He talked to his neighbors, explaining what had happened to Z. Some people were shocked. Some were scared. But many were angry that someone was hurting people in their building. An older woman named Linda Hayes from the 4th floor came to Jake's apartment. She had white hair and kind eyes. She looked at Z through the habitat glass and shook her head sadly. "This is terrible," Linda said. "That poor girl. Who would do such a horrible thing?" "That's what we're trying to find out," Jake said. "Well, count me in. I didn't spend my life fighting for civil rights just to watch people get hurt, because they're different. Doesn't matter if they're from another country or another planet. Wrong is wrong." Next came Aaron Price, a young doctor who lived on the 3rd floor. He was interested in alien biology and offered to help monitor the health of alien residents. He could spot signs of poisoning or sabotage faster than most people. "I went to medical school to help people. Aaron said. All people. That includes aliens. By evening, Jake had gathered 8 human residents who wanted to help. They sat in his living room, forming a circle around the coffee table where Z's habitat sat. It felt strange but also right to have this diverse group all focused on protecting their alien neighbors. Okay, Jake said. Here's what I think we should do. We need to document everything. Every incident, every threat, every suspicious activity. We need to support the alien residents and make sure they know they're not alone. And we need to figure out who's behind this. What about the building manager? Asked a woman named Claire. Shouldn't Mr. Cole know what's happening? I'll talk to him tomorrow, Jake said. But we need to be prepared. Some people in this building support what's happening to the aliens. We need to be careful who we trust, Linda spoke up. My grandson Kevin is good with computers. Maybe he can look at the building's security cameras, see if we catch anyone doing something suspicious. Sunday morning came with bright sunshine through Jake's windows. He made coffee and checked on Z. She was awake, reading something on her tiny device. The habitat was working perfectly, all the monitors showing good numbers. Morning, Jake said. Sleep okay? Yes, thank you. Your machine is very comfortable. Z's colors were a peaceful blue. What will you do today? I need to talk to Mr. Cole, the building manager. He needs to know what's really happening here. Jake finished his coffee and went downstairs to Mr. Cole's office. The building manager was a tired-looking man in his 50s, already at his desk even though it was Sunday. His office was small and messy with papers everywhere. Mr. Cole, I need to talk to you about the alien residents, Jake said. Mr. Cole sighed deeply. Look, Jake, I've heard all the complaints. Some of the longtime residents don't like the changes, but it's legal. The Fair Housing Act includes non-humans now. I can't do anything about it. That's not why I'm here. Someone is attacking the aliens, deliberately hurting them, trying to kill them. Mr. Cole looked up sharply. What are you talking about? Jake explained everything. Z's sabotaged regulator, the other incidents, the police investigation. As Jake talked, Mr. Cole's face went pale. This is serious, Mr. Cole said slowly. If someone is really doing this, the building could be sued. The owners will be furious. Jake felt anger flash through him. That's what you're worried about? Money? Someone almost died. No, that's not what I meant. Mr. Cole rubbed his face with both hands. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. This is about people's lives. It's just that I've been under so much pressure lately. Some of the human residents have been demanding that I kick out the alien tenants. They say the building isn't safe with aliens here. They say it will hurt property values. And what do you say? I say everyone has rights. This is America. But Jake, I'm just one person. If enough residents complain, the property owners might force me to do something. Then we need to show them that more residents support the aliens than oppose them. Mr. Cole looked uncertain. How would we do that? I've already started. I'm forming a residents' committee to protect the alien tenants and stop the harassment. I need your support. Official support from management. Jake, I don't know if I can do that. If the owners find out, if you don't take a stand now, what happens when the next person gets hurt or killed? How will you explain that you knew this was happening and did nothing? Mr. Cole was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. You're right. What do you need from me? Access to more security footage. Permission to put up notices about the committee. And I want you to come to our meetings. Show people that management cares about all residents, not just the humans. Okay, I can do that. Jake felt relieved. It wasn't a huge victory, but it was progress. Back in his apartment, he found Linda's grandson Kevin had arrived. Kevin was a teenager with messy hair and a laptop covered in stickers. He looked excited. Mr. Morrison, my grandma told me you need help with security footage. Yeah, we're trying to figure out who's been attacking the alien residents. Cool, I mean not cool that people are getting hurt. But cool that I can help. Kevin opened his laptop. I already started looking at the footage Mr. Cole sent. I found something interesting. Kevin turned the laptop so Jake could see. On the screen was a video from 3 weeks ago, showing the hallway late at night. A figure in dark clothes and a hood walked down the hall. The person stopped at a door, did something Jake couldn't quite see, then left quickly. That's Renth's door, Jake said. The geeks who got sick from contaminated food. Right, now watch this. Kevin typed something and brought up another video. Same hallway, different night. Another hooded figure, same dark clothes. This time they stopped at a different door. Can you see their face? No, the hood covers it. But look at this, Kevin zoomed in on the image. See that patch on their jacket? It's a logo. Jake squinted at the screen. The logo showed a planet Earth with a shield around it. Above it were words, "Save Earth now." "I've seen that before," Jake said. "That's Gregory Hunt's organization. He runs an anti-alien group." Linda, who had been watching, spoke up. "Hunt lives in Unit 8A. He's been vocal about not wanting aliens in the building." Kevin pulled up more footage. They found 3 more incidents showing similar figures with the same logo. Each time they targeted an alien resident's apartment. "We need to show this to Officer Carter," Jake said. He called Helen immediately. She said she would come over right away. While they waited, Kevin made copies of all the footage on a USB drive. Helen arrived within an hour. She was in her police uniform this time on duty. She watched the videos carefully, taking notes. "This is good evidence," Helen said, "but it's not enough for an arrest yet. We can't identify the specific people in the videos, and just wearing a logo isn't a crime." "But it connects Hunt's organization to the attacks," Jake said. "Yes, and that's helpful. I can use this to get a warrant to investigate Hunt and his group more deeply. But you need to understand, this takes time. The legal system moves slowly." "How much time?" Z asked from her habitat. "What if they attack someone else before you can stop them?" Helen looked at the tiny alien with sympathy. "That's my concern too, which is why I'm asking all of you to be very careful. Watch out for each other, document everything, and call me immediately if you see anything suspicious." After Helen left, the committee members who had gathered in Jake's apartment looked at each other with worry and determination. "So what do we do now?" asked Aaron. "We do what we planned," Jake said. "We protect the alien residents. We keep gathering evidence, and we don't back down no matter what." Over the next 2 days, the committee worked constantly. They created a phone tree so any alien resident could call for help immediately. They organized shifts to watch the hallways. Kevin set up his own security cameras in the common areas with Mr. Cole's permission to add to the building's existing system. Jake barely slept. He kept checking on Z, making sure her temporary habitat kept working. He talked to other alien residents, telling them about the committee and reassuring them they weren't alone. He coordinated with Linda and Aaron and the others, making sure everyone knew their jobs. On Tuesday morning, Z's technician finally arrived. He was a small alien with multiple arms and big bug-like eyes. He looked at Jake's makeshift habitat and made clicking sounds. "Remarkable," the technician said through a small translation device. "You built this with no training in xenobiology?" "I just used what I had available," Jake said. "It is impressive. Crude but functional. You saved her life with basic engineering and common items." The technician installed a new regulator in Z's apartment. This one had better security features to prevent sabotage. When it was finished, Z could finally go home to her own place. But that evening, she came back to visit Jake. "I wanted to thank you again," she said, standing on his coffee table where her temporary habitat had been. "You gave me my life back. I'm just glad you're safe now. How does it feel to be home?" "Good, but also strange. I spent several days here in your apartment. It felt like home too." Her color shifted to a soft pink, slightly embarrassed. "Is that weird?" "No, I get it. This has been an intense few days." They talked for a while about poetry and Earth and life in general. Jake realized he had gotten used to having Z around. The apartment felt too quiet without the gentle hum of her habitat. "Jake, what happens next? With the investigation?" "Helen is working on it. She's trying to get permission to search Hunt's apartment and his organization's office. But these things take time. And the committee? We'll keep going. Even after they catch whoever did this, the committee will continue. This building needs people looking out for each other." Z looked at him with her large eyes. "You have changed how I see humanity. When I first came to Earth, I studied your poetry and books to understand you. But all the reading in the galaxy couldn't teach me what you showed me these past few days." "What did I show you?" "That humanity's greatest strength isn't technology or weapons. It's compassion. Your willingness to help someone you barely know. Your refusal to accept cruelty as normal. You are what makes Earth worth visiting." Jake felt emotion tighten his throat. "Thank you, Z, that means a lot." That night, Jake got a text from Helen. "We got a warrant. Searching Hunt's place tomorrow morning. We'll update you after." Jake showed the message to Z, who had stayed to watch a movie with him. Her colors brightened with hope. "Do you think they'll find proof?" she asked. "I hope so. If Hunt is behind this, there should be evidence somewhere. What if there isn't?" What if they can't prove anything? Then we keep trying. We don't give up just because it's hard. Z was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I'm writing a poem about you, about what you did for me. Is that okay? Sure, but don't make me sound too heroic. I'm just a regular guy who did what anyone should do. But that is exactly the point. You are an ordinary person who did extraordinary things. That is real heroism. Wednesday morning felt tense with waiting. Jake went to work but couldn't focus. He kept checking his phone for messages from Helen. The other committee members were texting each other, sharing nervous energy. Finally, at 2 p.m, Helen called. We found evidence, she said. Jake could hear the satisfaction in her voice. The next few weeks brought both progress and new challenges. Gregory Hunt and his associates were in jail awaiting trial, but that didn't mean the problems had ended. More incidents happened around the building, smaller but still threatening. Someone spray-painted hateful messages in the hallway. An alien resident named Renth found his door covered in industrial glue, sealing him inside until Aaron and Jake broke it open. The residents' committee met twice a week now, always in Jake's apartment. They documented every incident, took photos, reported everything to Helen. The alien residents felt safer knowing people were watching out for them, but fear still lived in the building. One evening, Z came to Jake's apartment looking worried. Her colors were dark purple and gray. What's wrong? Jake asked. I feel guilty, Z said quietly. All of this started because someone tried to kill me. Now you and the others are in danger because you're protecting us. Maybe we should all just leave Earth, go back to our home worlds where we're safe. Jake sat down so he was closer to her eye level. Don't say that. You have every right to be here. This is your home now too. But at what cost? Your safety? The safety of others who help us? Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. Because if we let fear and hate win, then what kind of world are we building? What kind of people are we? But I am not even human. I am not even from Earth, so what? You're here legally. You're not hurting anyone. You came here to learn about us, to understand human poetry and culture. That makes you more welcome than the people who want you gone. Z's colors shifted slightly, getting a bit brighter. You really believe Earth can change? That humans and aliens can truly live together? I have to believe it. Otherwise, what's the point of any of this? The next day, Jake got a call from a local news station. They wanted to interview him about the residents' committee and what had happened in the building. Jake wasn't sure at first, but Linda convinced him. People need to hear this story, Linda said. They need to see that regular folks are standing up for what's right. It gives others courage to do the same. So Jake agreed. The reporter came to his apartment and asked him questions while cameras filmed. Jake felt awkward and nervous, but he tried to explain what had happened and why it mattered. So you created a life support system for an alien using common household items? The reporter asked. Yeah, I'm a maintenance engineer. I solve problems. This was just another problem that needed solving. But you also risked your own safety to protect someone you barely knew. Why? Jake thought about his answer. Because she was my neighbor. Because she needed help. Because that's what being human should mean. Helping people when they need it, even if it's hard or scary. The interview aired that evening. By the next morning, it had spread online. Jake's phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages and calls. Some were supportive, thanking him. Others were angry, calling him a traitor to humanity for helping aliens. A few were threatening. Helen called him. Jake, some of those threats are serious. You need to be careful. Maybe vary your routine. Pay attention to who's around you. I'm not going to hide. That's what they want. I'm not asking you to hide. Just be smart. These people are dangerous. That afternoon, Jake was called to a meeting at the city council. They wanted to hear about the residents' committee and how it worked. Jake brought Linda and Aaron with him for support. The city council meeting room was large and formal, with rows of seats and a raised platform where the council members sat. There were maybe 50 people in the audience, both humans and aliens. News cameras lined the back wall. A council member named Patricia Lopez spoke first. Mr. Morrison, we've heard about the situation in your building. We'd like you to tell us about the residents' committee you formed and how it's helped. Jake stood at the microphone, more nervous than he'd ever been. We started the committee because our alien neighbors were being attacked. The authorities knew about it but weren't doing enough to stop it, so we decided to protect them ourselves. We watch the hallways, document incidents, support each other. Simple stuff, really. And it's been effective? Another council member asked. Very effective. The alien residents feel safer. We've caught several more incidents on camera. And most importantly, we've built a real community. People talk to each other now. They help each other. That's what should have been happening all along. A council member named Frank Walker leaned forward. But isn't it dangerous to take law enforcement into your own hands? Shouldn't you leave this to the police? We're not taking law enforcement into our own hands. We're just being good neighbors. If you saw someone breaking into your neighbor's house, you'd call the police, right? Same thing. We're watching out for each other and reporting crimes when we see them. But some people say that aliens are the problem, Walker continued. That if they weren't here, none of these issues would exist. Jake felt anger rise but kept his voice calm. That's like saying if black people had just stayed in the back of the bus, there wouldn't have been any civil rights problems. The issue isn't the people being targeted. It's the people doing the targeting. We don't fix hate by giving in to it. There was applause from parts of the audience. Jake saw Z sitting on Linda's shoulder in the front row. Her colors were bright gold. Patricia Lopez spoke again. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Your testimony has been very helpful. This council is considering new protections for alien residents and increased funding for integration programs. Your residence committee model may become something we recommend to other buildings citywide. After the meeting, reporters surrounded Jake, asking more questions. He answered as best he could, always trying to bring the focus back to the alien residents and their right to be on Earth. That evening, exhausted, Jake returned to his apartment. Z was waiting for him. You were wonderful today, she said. So brave and eloquent. I was terrified the whole time. That makes it even braver. You were scared but did it anyway. Jake smiled tiredly. I guess. Hey, how's your poem coming? The one about me? It's almost finished. Would you like to hear some of it? Sure. Z's color shifted to a soft blue as she began to recite. A human heard a whisper at his door. A plea for life, a stranger small and scared. He did not turn away or ask for more. He simply helped because he truly cared. In darkness deep, when oxygen turned to poison air, one person chose to answer fear with grace. And in that choice showed all who would dare that kindness makes a home of any place. Jake felt tears in his eyes. That's beautiful, Z. It's the truth. You showed me what humanity can be at its best. Over the next month, things continued to improve. The residence committee expanded to include more people. The building held regular events bringing humans and aliens together. Movie nights where they watched films from different worlds. Potluck dinners where everyone brought food to share, even though most species couldn't eat each other's food. Language classes where aliens taught their languages and learned English. Jake found himself becoming friends with many of the alien residents. Renth, the Kix scholar, shared his research on Earth's history. The Jix family invited Jake to their daughter's birthday celebration, which involved musical tones humans couldn't quite hear but could feel. A Vreen student named Kayla taught Jake about her homeworld's philosophy, but Jake's closest friendship was still with Z. She came to his apartment almost every evening. They would talk about poetry and books. Z was working on her graduate studies now, writing a thesis about human emotional expression in literature. Jake helped her understand cultural context she sometimes missed. One evening, Z asked Jake to read Emily Dickinson poems to her. She said she loved hearing them in a human voice rather than just reading them on her screen. Hope is the thing with feathers, Jake read, that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. That's my favorite, Z said. I always thought it was beautiful but abstract. Now I understand it better. Hope is what you showed me. When things were darkest when I was dying, you gave me hope, and that hope kept going, spreading to others. I like that interpretation. Jake, can I ask you something personal? Sure. Why do you live alone? You are kind and brave and good. Why isn't there someone special in your life? Jake was quiet for a moment. I guess I've just been focused on work. Dating seems complicated. It's easier to keep things simple. But isn't life better when you share it with someone? Maybe. What about you? Is there someone special on your homeworld? Z's colors shifted to a sad blue. There was. But he didn't want me to come to Earth. He said it was too dangerous, that humans couldn't be trusted. We fought about it and eventually ended our relationship. He thought I was foolish to come here. I'm sorry. Don't be. Coming to Earth was the right choice. I've learned so much. I've met wonderful beings like you. I wouldn't change it. Even though you almost died. Even though Because that experience taught me more about humanity than any book could. It showed me that humans are capable of extraordinary compassion. You could have turned me away. Many people would have. But you didn't. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Outside, Seattle's light sparkled in the darkness. Inside, two beings from different worlds shared a moment of friendship. The trial date for Gregory Hunt was set for 2 months later. Helen warned Jake that he would. 6 months after the midnight knock that changed everything, Jake sat in a courthouse waiting to testify at Gregory Hunt's trial. The courtroom was packed with people, both human and alien. News cameras lined the walls. This trial had become a symbol of something larger than just one case. It represented Earth's struggle to decide what kind of planet it wanted to be. She sat with Linda and Aaron in the front row. Her colors shifted nervously between blue and purple. She had already testified yesterday, describing how her regulator was sabotaged and how she almost died. Jake had heard her testimony was powerful and emotional. Now it was his turn. A bailiff called his name and Jake walked to the witness stand. He placed his hand on a book and swore to tell the truth. The prosecutor, a woman named Diana Chen, approached him with a kind smile. "Mr. Morrison, can you tell the court what happened on the night of March 15th? Jake told the story. The midnight knock, finding Z dying on his doorstep, building the temporary habitat to save her life. The courtroom was completely silent as he spoke. "And why did you help her?" Diana asked. "Because she needed help. Because she was my neighbor. Because it was the right thing to do." "Did you know her before that night?" "No, I'd seen her maybe once or twice in the hallway, but we'd never spoken." "So you risked your time, your resources, and potentially your own safety for a complete stranger?" "I didn't think of it as a risk. I just thought about what would happen if I didn't help. She would have died. I couldn't let that happen." Gregory Hunt's lawyer, a man named Paul Stevens, cross-examined Jake. He tried to make it seem like Jake was exaggerating or seeking attention. But Jake stayed calm and told the truth. The facts spoke for themselves. When Jake finished testifying, he returned to his seat. Z's colors brightened when she saw him, shifting to a warm gold that he'd learned meant affection and gratitude. The trial continued for another week. Witness after witness testified about Hunt's organization and the attacks they had coordinated. The evidence was overwhelming. Videos of sabotage, records of plans, testimony from victims. Hunt had documented everything, apparently proud of what he was doing. The jury deliberated for only 6 hours. When they returned, the verdict was clear. Guilty on all counts. Attempted murder, hate crimes, conspiracy. The courtroom erupted in applause and cheers from the gallery. Hunt was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. His associates received sentences ranging from 5 to 15 years. The judge made a statement that was quoted around the world. The defendants claimed they were protecting Earth from alien invasion, but the only invasion here was their invasion of innocent people's rights to live safely. In a society that values justice and equality for all beings, such actions cannot and will not be tolerated. This court sends a clear message that hate has no place on Earth or anywhere in the galaxy. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Jake and Z. Cameras flashed. Microphones appeared from every direction. "How do you feel about the verdict?" a reporter asked. "I feel like justice was served," Jake said. "But this was never just about one person. It's about choosing what kind of world we want. A world where everyone is safe or a world where fear rules." Another reporter turned to Z. "What does this verdict mean to you and other alien residents?" Z's voice was small but steady. "It means that Earth is still learning and growing. Your species is young in the galaxy. There will be challenges and mistakes. But today showed that humans are capable of justice and compassion. That gives me hope for the future." The news coverage was massive. The trial had captured global attention. Jake's story and Z's story became a symbol of human-alien cooperation. Schools taught about it. Books were written. A movie was planned. But for Jake, life continued in simpler ways. He still worked as a maintenance engineer, though his company had promoted him and given him a raise. He still lived in the same apartment. He still met with the residents' committee twice a week. The Open Door Network had grown beyond anything Jake imagined. It was now active in over 100 cities worldwide. People who had never thought about alien rights were joining. Communities were forming. Change was happening, one neighborhood at a time. Jake received calls and messages constantly, people asking for advice. People thanking him. People telling their own stories of helping alien neighbors. Each story reminded him that he wasn't special. He was just one person who made a choice. There were millions of others making similar choices every day. One evening, almost a year after that first midnight knock, Jake sat on his balcony looking at the stars. It was a rare, clear night in Seattle. The sky was full of bright points of light, each one potentially home to beings like Z. Z joined him, climbing onto the small table he'd set out for her. She had graduated from her program and was now teaching at the university. Her class on human poetry was very popular with both human and alien students. "What are you thinking about?" Z asked. "Everything that's happened. It's been a crazy year. Do you regret any of it?" Jake thought about the question. His life had become complicated. He was now a public figure recognized on the street. He dealt with both praise and threats. His simple, quiet life was gone forever. "No," he said finally. "I don't regret it. My life is harder now, but it's also more meaningful. I'm making a difference. That matters. You've made more than a difference. You've started a movement, changed how humans and aliens interact across your entire planet. I didn't do it alone. Everyone helped." "You helped." Z's color shifted thoughtfully. "Do you know what I've realized? When I first came to Earth, I studied human poetry to understand your species. I read thousands of poems about love and hope and courage, but no poem taught me as much as watching you answer your door at midnight. That single action showed me what humanity is really about. What is it about? Choice. Humans are defined by the choices you make in difficult moments. You could have turned me away. Many would have. But you chose compassion over fear. Connection over isolation. That choice rippled outward and changed the world." Jake smiled. "That's very poetic. You should write that down." "I already did. It's the conclusion of my thesis." They sat in comfortable silence watching the stars. Jake thought about his father's words again. The world changes one decision at a time. He had made his decision, and it had changed his world completely. "Jake," she said softly, "I need to tell you something." "What's that?" "I've been offered a position at a university on my homeworld, teaching about human culture and literature. It's a great opportunity." Jake felt his chest tighten. "Are you going to take it?" "I don't know. Part of me wants to. I miss my family, my people. But part of me wants to stay on Earth. This has become my home too." "What do you want to do?" Z's color shifted through many shades. "I want to stay. Earth is where I belong now. My research is here. My students are here. My friends are here. You are here." Jake felt relief wash through him. "Then stay. We'd miss you if you left." "Would you miss me?" "Of course. You're my best friend, Z. This apartment would feel empty without you visiting every evening." Z's colors went bright gold. "You are my best friend too. I think that's why I want to stay. On my homeworld, I would be just another scholar. Here, I'm part of something important, part of change happening in real time." "Then it's settled. You're staying." "Yes, I'm staying." They continued watching the stars together. Jake thought about how strange and wonderful life could be. A year ago, he had been alone, living a simple life with no big purpose. Now he had friends across the planet. He was part of a movement. He had meaning, all because he opened his door when someone knocked. The next day, Jake went to a conference on human-alien relations. He was one of the keynote speakers along with several alien leaders and human activists. The conference center was huge, filled with thousands of people from dozens of species. Jake's speech was scheduled for the afternoon. He stood backstage nervous despite having given dozens of talks over the past months. But this was the biggest audience yet. A woman approached him. She was human, middle-aged, with kind eyes. "Mr. Morrison? I'm Susan Blake. I run a community center in Chicago. I wanted to thank you." "Thank me for what?" "For giving us the template. We used your residence committee model to create programs in our neighborhood. We've helped 3 alien families find safe housing. We've stopped 2 hate crimes before they happened. None of that would have been possible without your example." Jake felt warmth spread through his chest. "That's great. Really great. But you did the work. You made it happen in your community. Because you showed us how. You proved it was possible." Throughout the day, more people approached Jake with similar stories. People from cities he'd never been to. People who had watched his interviews online and been inspired. People who had taken his simple idea and made it work in their own places. When Jake finally gave his speech, he talked about all of them. Not about himself, but about the thousands of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Opening doors, welcoming strangers, building communities across species lines. "I'm not special," Jake said to the huge audience. "I'm just a maintenance engineer who answered his door at midnight." But that choice mattered because I followed through. I didn't just save one life and move on. I kept going. I organized. I connected with others. And you're all doing the same.